Welcome back to the Credit Human pregame show. It's time for the segment Life of Riley, where we learn more about the players on the Roadrunner football team. And Life of Riley is brought to you by Life Storage. It's your life. Store it with care. Today's special guest is senior quarterback Brandon Garza. Brandon, it seems like you've been on the roster for like 8 or 9 years, but it's really finally your senior season, and you got a couple more games left. Tell us about the journey to get to UTSA.
Yes, sir. Well, I started, from Harlingen High School. It's a school down south in the Rio Grande Valley. Not many kids get recruited from down there, so I started off my career at the University of Houston, was a preferred walk-on there. And I wanted more, I felt like I could position myself to earn a scholarship here at UTSA, so, with relationships with Coach Major Applewhite and Coach Frank Seffel, who was offensive coordinator at the time, I made a smooth transition from Houston to UTSA, and I knew I was going to start off as a walk-on. I told Coach Seffel, hey, just give me an opportunity. I'm willing to work, I'm willing to do whatever you guys want me to do. Last year, Coach Wilson and the awesome staff put me on full scholarship, and it was such a blessing, thinking about the journey that I had been on. Obviously, I want to see the field, but, whatever this team had asked me, man, I wanted to help as many guys as I could. Whenever my number was called, whenever that may have been, I knew that I was always going to stay ready. And whatever the quarterbacks in that room and whatever my teammates needed from me, man, I was going to do whatever I could to help them and make a positive impact on this team. And I'm so grateful for the journey that I've been on, and I love being a Roadrunner, and it's been such a blessing to be here.
Talk about the day and the time where you found out that they were putting you on full scholarship. That's just got to be a thrill.
Oh, it's what you dream as a walk-on every day. That's your end goal. That's what you work towards every day. And for me and my family, that was my goal. My family has put in so much money and time and effort into helping me become the best quarterback athlete I could be. And for me, it was always, I want to pay back, and I want to give them a full scholarship. And it was us, it wasn't for me, it was more for us as a family. And it was last year, right before the season started, we had an inter-squad scrimmage at the Alamo Dome, and we had a team meeting, and within the team meeting, they had, made a cool little PowerPoint of who was on scholarship. And it was funny because 2 days before that, I told my family, I called them and I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. I did everything I could. I don't think I'm going to get put on scholarship. And so, that was actually going to be my last year playing ball last year because, if I was going to go ahead and graduate my bachelor's and start trying to, make money, see what's going to happen. And so 2 days later, we have the whole thing and I get put on scholarship, and it was just such a blessing, man, because I got put on scholarship. So, I had a talk with Coach Wilson, I graduated in December, possibility of me starting my master's, and so the scholarship pushed over to be able to help me out with my master's as well. And it's just such a blessing, man, the way God throws everything in line for you perfectly. For me, it was just, wow. I just had this talk with my parents. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm going to be able to put on scholarship, and then I get put on. And, it was just such an amazing feeling for us. The video went all viral all over Twitter. And, you could see the emotion in my parents. They're just so happy for me. And that was just such an amazing time, and I'm so grateful for it.
It had to show you how much this coaching staff and this institution, you didn't play a lot. You did get to see some time in a game a couple of years ago. I think it was 2017 Texas State.
Yes, sir.
But the value that you brought and the intangibles that you brought showed Coach Wilson and the entire staff that you deserved a scholarship.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I wanted to do everything I could. I always knew I had knowledge of the game. And for me, I always feel like I have a purpose of trying to help people, as many people as I could. And so I knew that I could share my knowledge of the game with as many quarterbacks as I could. All my former teammates can attest to this, that I helped in any way possible to help them. And, I'd continue just to work and grind like I was a starting quarterback. I game plan like I was a starting quarterback and continue to watch as much film as I could and take every meeting and write notes as I was starting. And, it didn't go unnoticed. And the coaching staff saw that. And like I said, I just tried to do everything I could to position myself to have worth on this team, have a role, play your role. Like Coach says, play your role, find a role, and be good at that role. And I feel like that was what I did. And, thankfully I earned a scholarship.
Is it okay to refer to you as the Rain Man of quarterbacking?
Oh, it could be your own opinion.
Referring to your football IQ,
right,
which is what we've heard about you. Yeah, you're not 6'4".
Right.
You don't run a 4.3 40.
Right.
You can't throw the ball 80 yards,
right,
but your football IQ is through the roof.
Yes, sir. Like I said, it's a part of what I want to be in the future as well. I take this very seriously, and I took the knowledge of the game that I've learned very seriously from all the coaches. So, everything, I've always been a sponge to it, always been wanting to learn more and more and more. And so, I try to be able to become the best knowledgeable quarterback that I can be, so that down the line I can help as many quarterbacks as I can. So.
Well, Brandon, congratulations on getting a degree, working on your master's, and getting on scholarship. And above all, thank you very much for everything you've done for this university.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for everything that you and the part of this university. I'm very appreciative for the people that notice that, and it means a lot. So thank you.
We'll be back with more of the Credit Human pregame.
Brandon Garza up here. Brandon's been around the program for a long time. Another one of the seniors that'll be graduating this year and runs the scout team most of the time. He also has a headset in on the sidelines, and he's running in plays. Coach Wilson tells me you're one of the brightest minds on the team, if not the brightest, and you know this offense backwards and forwards. Tell us about your time here at UTSA and your role.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the compliment very much. Yes, sir, my role, like Coach says, find a role. And I learned very quickly that I was going to have to find a role somehow, some way. As a walk-on, you have to find ways to prove your worth to a team. You have to play a role. And so my role was learn the offense inside out and be ready when a number is called and help the quarterbacks in that room continue to grow. Like you said, I've been here many years. And, my job, I feel like, was to serve a purpose for the quarterbacks in those rooms. And whatever they needed help with, I wanted to make sure I could help them with step by step by step. And just be another coach, be another voice for them in the room. And like Coach says, find your role, play a role. And that's what I've done since I've been here at the University of Texas San Antonio.
You want to be a coach. And being a coach means you got to understand what the offense is. Talk about learning football from a perspective that most of us will never understand.
Yes, sir. I'm just a sponge, man. I'm a sponge to every coach and staff, offense, defense. I just want to learn ball. I want to learn ball every day. And so I take notes every day like I'm a starter or like I'm a coach, and I just want to continue to learn because I love ball, and every day I just want to learn and open up my mindset a lot more.
I hear you with the headset on, so I know sometimes you're the guy that's calling the play, sometimes you may be the decoy, all that kind of stuff. Don't get into that, but the point I'm trying to make is that you're hearing what the coaches in the press box are saying, what the play's called, so that gives you kind of an experience that says this is what I may do someday. Is I may be up in that press box or down here on the sideline making calls.
Yes, sir. And it's communicating the offensive calls to whether, like you said, I'm a decoy or whether I'm live. Won't get into that, but it's a very interesting view of things. How a coach calls the game and how he sees based on fronts and coverages and situational down and distance, and it's just another way to learn ball and communicate to my team.
Is there ever a time where you go, "This is the play I would run," and that's the play that actually gets called?
A couple of times. I like doing that in practice with Coach and Coach Castle. I was like, "Coach, you got this call coming up? How'd you know that?" I know how you call. That
means you know you're paying attention, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. So I love doing that. I love trying to guess what Coach is trying to do and just put myself in the situation that he's in, see what he would do in that situation.
You come from a football family. Every road trip, your dad's there at the games. That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir. My dad, shout out my dad if you're listening. My father's very supportive, and I'm very appreciative of that. And, I can't wait to do this with my son one day because he's very supportive of me, and I can't wait to be that way with my son.
All right, awesome. Thanks. Keep up the good work,
yes,
and we'll see you down the road here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Brandon Garza out here at the Sandbox with us. Whether you're